Hey, supposedly we're live. Welcome to All Good Things and All Good Time. My name is Craig Hamilton Bradley. This is my channel where it is always a great day to be alive, and this is my podcast where I finally have some pretty exciting news. And I got a few things written down this time to talk about. I used to, when I was doing the god awful news, I would write everything down. And then I did a few podcasts. I think this is like number 4, where I'm just using my name. And in this case, I've decided to get away from, well, at least this time, the vertical. Now, vertical and horizontal are different because when you're doing vertical, people can just doom scroll and then stumble upon you, right? And while doom scrolling and stumbling upon you, oh, you know what that reminds me? Don't mind me. I'm going to grab a remote so I can watch this on the big screen same time. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience with me. I do like to do that. It's pretty cool. If you've never done a live stream, you can. Ooh, that's a pretty picture too. By the way, the picture for this is of Mount Tamalpais in Marin County from a little park adjacent to the Larkspur Ferry Terminal. Oh, and look at me. I'm on TV now. See that? It's exciting seeing yourself on TV. Let me tell you what is exciting. Yeah. Oh, and now there's an advertisement. I should probably let that play for a while. Anyway, so yeah, I got a lot of one really big exciting thing to talk about. So, and a few other, I think, pretty noteworthy things to talk about as well, that are part of the news, but not necessarily all entirely bad news, which is all we're getting from these god-awful Republican, godless traitors who are doing so much harm, so much crime, and in some cases in the name of their fucking religions, which takes everything good away from religion when you're doing harm and crime in the name of Jesus or Allah or whatever, man. I mean, I don't care what your religion is. If you're doing harm, oh, okay, so now it's, okay. If you're doing harm, because of something that's based on your religious beliefs, your religion sucks. Anyway, God bless you. If there is one, we'll find out, I suppose. Or not, right? Anyway. So, man, there's a lot to talk about. So first of all, I have decided to take a break from cannabis because I'm going to do my best to enter the job market, and a job or a couple of the jobs that I might be interested in might require blood or urine tests. So it's a good challenge, right? I feel like, and I hate it when people say, I feel like, God, it's annoying. Sorry for saying that. It seems like after some sort of traumatic experience, let's say you lose everything in a fire and your friends die and shit like that, or whatever happens to you, a lot of different things can affect you the same way and trauma is trauma. And cannabis is a really good treatment for it, right? And I have been treating myself with cannabis since the fire, immediately since the fire. When I escaped the fire, I brought with me some cannabis, and that first night sleeping in my car after having losing everything, it was real nice to have some cannabis. And all the while until now, it's been nice. But maybe it's good for me to take the challenge of moving forward without cannabis, but also it's going to make me more employable. So I am almost, close to a week in now without cannabis. Something I thought was just going to be impossible. So don't mind me if I have a beer, because it's a good way. It's the only thing I got. Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Oh, the Greater Bilby. Aloha, brother. Right on. Love you, man. Appreciate you, and appreciate you for watching my channel, following me up till now. What do I got? I got one person watching. You're it. Recently, I've been doing these live streams of the ocean, right? Like 2 weeks ago, I got 8,000 views, and then 6, and then it went from, 6,000 views to 30 or 40. Like, I just got throttled. Somebody at YouTube just put the thumb on me, like, I don't know if it's an algorithm or a person, but it's interesting nonetheless. And it's the story of my whole channel, right? My most viewed video is this video from the fire, right? It got 177,000 views in 2 days. And still has 177,000 views, right? My friend Spud, who's now famous. If you don't know this, my friend Spud is part of this new award-winning film that's going to start hitting all the film festivals called Lahaina Rising. And it is informative, educational, and, makes you cry. And I got to go to it with Spud and watch the one time it's been shown on Maui. It's been shown on Maui one time. It won best local film at the Hawaiian Film Festival on Oahu, which was a pretty good way to start. All the guys I remember you interviewing and talking. Yeah, right. Yeah. And his video got 48,000 views in 24 hours. Got 2,000 views an hour. For 24 hours, got 2,000. And then, wham, still has 48,000 views, right? Like, I remember, yeah. So, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I definitely should be on more than one platform. And now I have reasons to do that. And I'm going to tell you about that in a second because it's so gosh darn exciting. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. Yeah, pardon me for being a little bit, these are 7.2%, and I think I'm on 2.5. I also have coffee nearby. Anyway, but here's the cool thing. The job I really want, which I'm applying for, I got to take a competency test and then test after test after test after test for one of the lowest paying jobs in the county. But it's the ideal job. And once I get it, if I get a medical card, I can resume cannabis medication without fear of losing my job. So it's fascinating to me. So if I can just be tough for a couple months and see where this takes me, if I get that job, then I'll be able to. The job I'm looking for requires you to work every other hour, and you can do whatever you want, like do homework. And so I'm signed up now for a full load of classes at our community college. So I'm going to be a full-time student, hopefully get this job, and be a full-time student who works full-time, who has plenty of time to do his homework, because I'm going to be paid $24 an hour, 4 hours a day, to either take a nap or do my homework. And so that's cool. I think I figured out a way to have this dream life. Thanks, brother. This dream life of working full-time and being a student full-time, which I'm really starting to enjoy being a student. It's kind of funny, right? Like, Chevy Chase plays me on TV, plays an old man at a fake community college. I'm a real old man at a real community college. I'm pretty sure some of my classmates' moms are too young for me. And if you haven't heard me say this already, it's going to be part of my jokes and something I'm about to tell you about. But in one of my classes, the final was to just get up in front of the class and talk about stuff or whatever. And so I made a video about the meaning of life being having a good attitude, and then I showed that. But some of the kids were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get up there and ask questions of the audience." So when one of these kids was just bullshitting his way through his final, but the thing is, the instructor just wanted to get these young people who were so introverted and so closed off to get up in front of the class and do anything. But I said, hey, because I figured, if you do the math, some of these moms might be age appropriate. It might be single, might be hot. So mostly for joke purposes, but with a shred of truth, I said to the whole class, I said, hey, if any of you have a hot single mom looking for a unemployed, soon to be homeless guy who lost everything he owns in the fire, I'm right here. Anyway, I'm just loving being a student, and I'm loving taking art class. I never took an art class, right? I got an Associate of Arts degree at Santa Rosa Junior College a long time ago. Never took an art class. Took every philosophy course, every economics course I could. Those were cool. But man, who knew art classes are so awesome? So I've taken photography, and I learned so much. I wish I did that 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever. And I'm in the midst of getting close to finishing my totally. And if you haven't seen Great Therapy, is what my friend just said. Because when you see this after the live stream, you won't know what the comments are, right? And I got one homeboy commenting. So I should probably tell you what his comments are before I respond to them so that you understand what the hell this dialogue is. Anyway, still one person. That's cool, man. It's late. And I have been throttled by YouTube for whatever reason. I occasionally probably say some inflammatory things or respond in an inflammatory way to some piece of shit, racist pig, which happens. The last podcast, there's these sick ass people who like to write the N-word one letter at a time, N-I-G, and that happened in my last podcast. It was so offensive. And then I just had to stop to dress down the dipshit Republican racist pig who was saying that shit. So, and saying this right now is probably what maybe throttles my channel. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, art classes are the best thing ever. I'm taking this printmaking class, and if you haven't seen it, I made a short of the things I've done. The first thing I did was this petroglyph from my Canoe Club shirt, where I traced it and then carved it out of linoleum. Linoleum is what they carve plates out of to make prints, t-shirts. Who knew that? Linoleum. Anyway, so now I'm working on copper etching. It's pretty cool. I went to Satoru Abe's art exhibit, took a picture of one of his pieces, and he did if you haven't seen it, I made a video walking through the art gallery, which is a hot tip for you. If you ever come to Maui, there's a free museum, the Schaefer Museum at the Maui Arts and Culture Center, where every 2 months they trade out new artists and themes, and in the middle of Maui Community College, there's this huge art installation of these trees. And in the beginning of that video, you see a small version of that. But I was like, oh, interesting. Anyway, so that's a hot tip. If I ever have, a date free, I like free things. Who doesn't? I love free parking. I hate having to pay for parking. I hate having to pay to drive down the road. Toll roads suck. If you want to be a good politician or a voting American, we need to vote to eliminate toll roads and surveillance. Oh my God, the surveillance state is pissing me off so much. If I was all powerful, like the president or whatever, I'd go around and shoot out every one of those freaking cameras. Even though I'm not committing harm or crime, have you seen now they're They're pulling people over because, oh, suspicious car activity. It's so offensive. Anyway, so yeah, school is great. And I think I figured out the ultimate way to enjoy having full-time work with a pension after 10 years. And I'm old, so I have a vested interest in having a pension in 10 years. That'll be my late 60s. And that'll be after I get Social Security going, right? So I'll get Social Security, and then I'll have that pension kick in, hopefully, if I can realize these goals. And there's so many tests. I want to become a lifeguard, right? And so I got to do a physical swim test, blood test, physicals, where I got to go see a doctor to make sure I'm healthy enough. The first test I haven't taken yet, and I only have 2 days to do it, is a competency test, and I got to do it online. But how's this? You got to make sure there's nothing around you because they're afraid you're going to cheat somehow. You can't even have paper and a pen. You have to have a whiteboard only. Which I'm not. I'm just going to do it. It's multiple choice. I'll get through it just fine. But I wanted to get to this point where I was like a week of not, taking in any cannabis before I take that test, because I want to know that I've accomplished at least putting myself on the road. But it's supposedly like a 2-month freaking interview process, right? With and then once you're done with all the tests, physical, the doctor, the online comment, then you start learning all the stuff, how to save people's lives, and then there's more tests with that. So it's interesting, and it's also like one of the lowest paying jobs in the county. But every other hour, you can do whatever you want. If there's 3 guys on deck, on the pool deck, you only work 2.5 hours a day. You can have 5.5 hours to do homework, being paid, right? And so that's pretty cool. And it's you're off work at 4 o'clock, right? No matter what. And so that's cool. And then every holiday is off. And if you've worked in the service industry, you understand what that means. The service industry, you always work on holidays, and that's when you make extra money. And so you never have time with family or friends on holidays. So I pretty much I've already have this life habit of just not expecting to ever be around people on holidays. And with holidays coming, like next week, I'll probably be here with you in an empty place on Thanksgiving. But I'm not sad about it. It's all good. Life's good, right? I got a good attitude. A good attitude is the meaning of life. If you have a good attitude, you can realize that today is a good day to be alive. And every day you can realize a good day to be alive is a day where you found the meaning of life. You know what I mean? Like, the meaning of life is being happy to be alive, right? And, of course, we see people who aren't happy to be alive, and you can see how that is obviously not adhering to that. So, all right. So, saw my first whale already, like 3 days ago, which is super exciting. Saw a little puff of smoke on the horizon right out here, which is significant because when they come in from Alaska, right, this is the route they take. This is the first channel they go through is the Palele channel, or I forget, it's not right. Anyway, the channel between here and Molokai. And so they're just showing up. And I'm going to get out there and get footage of whales, and that's going to be super cool because I got a leash for my 12.5-foot stand-up board, which I'll be sitting down on paddling. And as soon as I see whales, man, I'm going to jump in the ocean and have that leash on my board. $42 for the leash. Oh, kills me. Anyway, and I should be able to film them underwater, which is really something I've never done, and it's my dream and my goal. So that's interesting. And cool. Whales are here, and I'm going to try to get some footage. I'm finally doing underwater footage, if you haven't seen it. I'm swimming. So far, I've been going to Airport Beach, where it's just, you jump in, and there's just fish everywhere. And I'm going to try to make a little children's, movie and where I write dialogue in a screenplay for a children's story, but it's gonna be, oh, cool, thanks, I'm glad you like them. But imagine, like cool and funny. I'm gonna try to find a bunch of fish jokes and follow around some fish underwater, and then you know, impose voices onto them and make up a scenario where they're talking and making jokes and having fun. And yeah, that's kind of, I'm taking a screenplay writing class, and I have to write a screenplay starting right now. My final is going to be a screenplay, and that's one of the ideas I'm considering following through on. Anyway, oh, and here's a helpful hint. I just learned something pretty cool and interesting, and it provokes a question. But I'm sure you've heard about people having their cars stolen, their high-tech cars stolen, right? And there's two methods by which these thieves, these high-tech thieves, steal your cars from your driveway, right? One of them is to have the thing that a locksmith has, which I got nothing for you on. But the other way is this enhanced transmitter that picks up your key in your house, right? And then they get like an antenna, and they get that signal, and they enhance it, and then they trigger that to get into your car, and then they're gone, right, in 60 seconds. Well, the same thing that makes your phone go dark, which with the surveillance state and everyone tracking everything, I found this whole package of like several of these, big ones, small ones. These are Faraday bags, and they make your laptop or your cell phone invisible, right? Which seems like a good thing to have as the surveillance state creeps into everywhere, as these corrupt assholes are trying to monetize all of your movements, your face, your car, its tags, your gait, your facial recognition. It's so disturbing. Anyway, that is definitely a good thing to have these. Yeah, but this, if you put your car keys in it, one of the two ways they can steal your car is eliminated. If your car key is in your house, it's not sending a signal that they can enhance to steal your car. And that was a little bit of an epiphany. It was like, oh, cool, I already have it. Right now I'm up like 5 floors, so I'm hoping I'm far away enough anyway. But nevertheless, that seems like it's just a secondary, maybe the first reason to want to have a Faraday bag. I've never actually haven't used these yet, but it seems like a cool thing. Yeah, so, and then, of course, it provokes the question, right? Hot tip. So it provokes the question, like, why don't car makers now, so you can't do anything about the locksmith's device, but there should be something you can do. There should be some switch in your car that turns off whatever it is that the locksmith's device uses to get into your car, right? Just a simple switch turns it off because you don't want your car stolen from your driveway, right? Probably be pretty freaking easy to do that for car makers. So car makers, if you're listening, which I know you're not, give us a switch to turn that shit off in our car so that a locksmith can't even get in there and start it, right? That's okay with plenty of us if we've got our life organized, you know what I mean? Anyway, but cool, man. I didn't realize that's the way to stop the guys from, and a lot of car thefts are happening these days from the guys that enhance the signal that's coming out of your car key all the time. Anyway, so that's just a helpful hint. And that was only $19.99 or something. Oh, shit. $19.99 for like 5 of these bags. And if you're not sure if they're good enough, just put one inside of another. That's probably good enough. All right, so that's that hot tip. Interestingly, on our local news, some shit-ass tourist has been videoed taking a turtle, pulling it up on its feet, and taking pictures with it, with his dipshit wife taking the pictures. And it's so offensive, it's so disgusting. Locals want to find this guy. He's back on the mainland somewhere. But if there's one thing not to do, that's one of them, you know? And so when I do underwater videos, if you notice that one where I was cruising over some coral and I saw some huge turtles, I never will be right above them because they got to breathe air. And when they look up to breathe air, if you're right there, then they got to find another place to go. And you don't want them to be gasping for air, right? So I'll always be off and away a little bit. I will never be trying to get up close to turtles. They will occasionally be up close because, you know, sometimes I'm just swimming and holy shit, there's one right in front of me, right? And so if I have a camera on my head when that happens, you know, we might get some close-up footage. But close-up footage of turtles isn't cool, okay? And so, anyway, all right. So let's see. Oh, and so I got some good news that affects me and many of you who don't have good credit but who want to own a home someday. And there's two ways to look at this. But on my positive view of it, there's this new stuff coming from these horrible Republicans because they want to claim that they're making housing more affordable by giving you a 50-year loan, which is basically making you a renter for life in a sense, right? Nevertheless, not as much as it should be, considering it's 20 more years, but it does lower your payment a little bit, which helps you qualify for the home loan, right? And if you're somebody who can pay the house off or pay aggressively, you know, it's perfect. Or if you're normally somebody who would have good credit had you not gone through a divorce and a pandemic and a fire, you know, you're still a good bet. They just don't realize it, right? But check it out. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who ends up buying all the loans from banks so they can get their money back, so they can give it to you again and then sell it off and then keep that cycle going. Apparently, according to one video I watched, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't going to care about your credit scores anymore, right? Which means it's all going to be based on your job and money in the bank. Do you have a job? Have you had it for 2 years? In the same profession? And do you have money in the bank? I assume, because those are the two other components other than your credit score that allow you to buy a house. For me, that's really exciting because up till now, I can't even consider being on a loan. I could find a friend who has good credit. He could help. He could do the loan. I could be added to title later if he, you know. So there's ways to sort of make it work. But now, I can qualify to buy a home if I can get the other two things arranged. Or partner, right? If you have partners, with partners, you just add your incomes together. If you make 50, 60, 70 grand, somebody else makes 70 grand, that's 140 grand. Suddenly you're qualifying for a payment, right? If one of you has 10 grand, the other one has 40 grand in the bank, that's 50 grand in the bank. Now you got 50 grand in the bank and you got $140,000 in income and you can buy a house with the shittiest credit ever, like mine, which is so bad. I left credit cards with balances on them. I recently tried to get a credit card, a secure credit card, offering to like give them the money to lend back to me just to get the credit going, to try to get better credit, because that's one of the methods you can use. But when you leave a balance at American Express, at Discover, at MasterCard and Visa, like I did after the divorce and then the pandemic, I just let a car get repossessed. My credit is something I have to assume will never exist again, and the only way I will be able to buy a house someday is if I somehow get rich, you know, selling a best-selling book or becoming a well-paid comedian. So, you know, maybe there's a chance I'll just never have the chance. But anyway, so that's a big positive. If you haven't heard about the 50-year mortgages, that's one aspect, but also the part where they're not going to ask for credit scores anymore, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, is a game changer. So that's pretty cool, I think. All right, so on to the really good news. Once I, you know, decided I wanted to do comedy, you know, oh my God, the struggles, right? you go to open mic and your mind gets destroyed by the terrible things people talk about. Like, it's so offensive, some of the things you hear at open mic night. Like, you can't unhear it. It scars your brain. There's a person who's in control of everything, who will only give you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then you got to get off stage. And of course, anytime someone has all the power, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And it's swimming upstream, and it's awful. It's awful. So then you're like, wouldn't it be great if there was a comedy club? But we have no comedy in Maui, no comedy clubs. And so then you go, okay, well, let's say I want to do a show. If I could just get the money, maybe I could rent a space where there's a stage and seats. And I was naive and thinking, that's all I need to do is come up with the money. So let's say you can come up with $2,000 for the theater. What's this say? I can never remember the name of the guy who said that quote about, I know. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Machiavelli. I thought it was Socrates for a long time. But then Machiavelli. Thanks for asking. Now you know. It's a good thing to know, because you see it everywhere, right? You could have a boss that's in charge of 3 people, and that absolute power over 3 people just corrupts the motherfucker. Makes him an asshole. And that sucks, right? And all over the freaking world, and in so many situations, there's some dickhead abusing the absolute power they have to affect sometimes one person, maybe their wife or their husband or whatever, So, yeah. So then I was like, okay, so, all right, I want to rent a place. So I went to one theater where there's 369 seats, and they charge $1,800. And I happened to catch the lady who runs the stuff going into the theater. And I was like, I have $2,000 right here in cash. Can we set a date? Because I don't need nothing. I just need a microphone. I don't care if they're working on a set. Like, there could be the construction of a play behind me that they're working on. That's fine. I don't care. I don't need any extra stuff. I just need a stage and a microphone and one spotlight in one place. Like, it's so simple. But they're like, no, you got to go home. We'll send you an email, and then you got to respond to the email, and blah blah blah. And then they just fade you out into existence, and they're just not sincere. And then there's the biggest theater on Maui, right? It holds 1,000 people. Costs $7,000. I was like, okay. I went to them, said, I got the money. And they're, we don't think you're well suited. We think you'd be better suited in the smaller theater that holds 350. And then, of course, they just stop communicating, won't respond because they're prejudicial. Theaters, I didn't realize that theaters are discriminatory. They have prejudice, and I'm a big nobody, right? So, frustrating, to say the least. For 2 years now, I've been trying to find a place to perform. 2 years. Where it should be as simple as, here's the money. And then the other thing is, my whole show, it should be the one thing that they fucking care about, right? Like, I'm doing a show called Finding My Marbles, Life After the Fire. I'm a fire survivor, trying to start a comedy career. My whole 1-hour comedy special is about all the jokes that have happened that wouldn't have happened because they happened after the fire in my life, right? And so it's like, why wouldn't you want to facilitate that? It freaking makes no sense to me. But here's the cool shit. So it would have cost $7,000 to rent the Castle Theater for 1,000 people, which is a cost of $7 a seat, right? Okay, so just remember that. Put a pin in it. So the night of the fire, I escaped as it was encroaching on me, right? Like, I made a 17-second video of my last few seconds on my driveway right before everything in my house just burned to total toast. melting, destroying everything. So I pull out of my driveway and there's two guys right there needing to get picked up. I'm not a hero. I might have saved their lives, but I'm not a hero. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Nevertheless, I picked these two guys up, threw the ship front seat to the back seat, and take them up. One of them owns his own business. He's an electrician, right? And his clients are people who have really nice houses, and friends. So we go up to this multi-million-dollar house in Lanipoco, and we watch Lahaina burn from there, and it's just awful. Right. And then the next morning, I drive these two guys down to places to drop them off in Wailuku town. And then I'm like, shit, I need coffee. Turns out, I don't care what disaster you suffer through the next morning, if you're a coffee drinker, that's going to be the one thing that makes you happier than anything in the world. And you're going to need coffee. Like, who thinks, what these fire survivors need or these tornado survivors is coffee, right? But yeah, it's guaranteed. Nothing's going to make these people happier. So, and I'm like, and I've been curious, right? There's this business called the Coffee Addict. And the Coffee Addict is this business where it's not Starbucks, right? It's a local place with local flavor, locally owned, right? Great place for affordable lunch or breakfast, good coffee that has live music in the mornings called the Coffee Attic. But they also have this downstairs theater area that holds 60 people, right? And so, anyway, day after the fire, I go there for that first cup of coffee, and then miracles happen, right? They won't let me pay them for the coffee. Sorry. These are happy tears. Anyway. Sorry. The lady behind me in line insists on buying me breakfast. I go outside and some guy's like, hey, we got to get on the plane. Can we give you all this stuff? He's got leftover food and a case of water. And I thought it'd be funny to say, hey, you got a shirt you want to give me? So the guy gives me a shirt in the parking lot. Then I go back inside the Coffee Addict, and some anonymous person bought a $25 gift card from Coffee and just put it where my stuff was. I had a notebook and a pen, my phone sitting there. And so, it's just all this positive shit, miracles. I see this guy who works for a fire department from California, and he's just flown out to help, right? And he works for the Cal Fire. And this kid that grew up across the street, whose dad was the state fire marshal, totally. The state fire marshal under Jimmy Carter in California was this guy, Phil Favreau, who lived right across the street until he became that. He moved to, right? And then took his two kids, Tony Favreau and his brother. Anyway, my brother was older than me, and Phil Favreau taught my brother how to work on bicycles. And my dad was a lawyer who was never at home and was out screwing prostitutes after work, and was one of these guys who's like, the reason I work is so I can pay other people to fix shit for me, Barely a man. But this guy across the street, Phil Favreau, who became the fire marshal of California, like taught my brother, how to do stuff. And so that was cool. It was a real positive note in my brother's life. But I remember all this. I was a little guy with a pretty good memory, and like 3-4 years old. I remember all these guys, and his sons were Tony Favreau and John Favreau, I think. One was older, the other was younger than me, and so anyway, but yeah, one of those guys is like one of the top guys at Cal Fire, like right now. And I met a guy at the coffee addict that knew him. And I was like, hey man, you tell him I said hello, which was just cool. Anyway, so that was that. Anyway, so I'm at the coffee addict. All these wonderful things happen, and that's where I realized, oh shit, I've had this membership, $10 a month now for 4 or 5 years at Planet Fitness, and I never go there. So now it's time for me to go get my $500 shower. That first shower cost me $500, but I was just happy to have a place for a hot shower. So anyway, all right. So speed forward. That's going to be where I'm going to do my first show. It only holds 60 people, and I can't barely leave my house before I run into 60 people I know in a small town where everybody knows everybody, and I've lived for 30 years, and I've done a whole bunch of stuff that connects me to people, paddling outrigger canoe, the whole canoe community, raising kids. I worked at the elementary school in the special ed department. I worked at a restaurant with 200 other employees. Oh yeah, and there are some van dwellers that use our local Planet Fitness. I finally started working out there years later, and you can tell those guys. You see them in the parking lot, and then you see them in there, and sometimes they only come in for a shower. Yeah, you can't beat it, right? And in fact, if I become homeless in 2 months, which is a possibility, which I'm not afraid of, partly because I have the old property where I once lived, where there will be a house again in 2 years, where I most likely will be living again. That I'll be able to sleep at that property, which is the address on my ID, right? If you saw the video of my burned out house, that's now a gravel lot, and I'll be able to park my cars there, sleep there, and not have to worry about getting, cops hassling me at a Safeway parking lot or wherever. So that's cool. And then but also, there's showers on the beach. There's showers at the public pool that are hot. There's hot showers at my gym where I should be working out every day anyway. And I got a safe place to park. I think I'm going to need to get a storage unit for the few belongings that I rescued from the fire and then have accumulated since. But barring the hassle of, and so that's the only thing I'm worried about is if, yeah, totally. Yeah, so I'm really luckier than most. But I just talked to a guy today who, upon eviction, he doesn't have a car, right? He's at the Kahana Manor across the street. He and many people, like my son, will just be moving onto the street. No car, no place for their stuff. That's going to provoke a bunch of suicides for sure. There were 20 suicides after the fire. I bet there's another 20 after they evict everybody, because that's going to be a rock bottom moment for a lot of people. That's just going to be too hard to handle. I've never thought about killing myself, never will. And if I did, I don't have a gun to succeed it with, thank God, right? Like if you got guns around you and you have just one freaking 30-second moment where you don't want to be alive, that's it, because guns work. Everyone who tries to commit suicide with a gun succeeds. Everyone else who tries to commit suicide usually fails, right? So, and if you want to be a failure at something, it's committing suicide. Anyway, so, yeah, so back to this place, right? So So the coffee addict is this, and then the guy that runs it, everybody loves this guy, John Henry. And it has a long, happy history and fans. And so I'm gonna have no trouble selling out. I think tickets are gonna be going on sale tomorrow at MauiCoffeeAddict.com, but I'm not gonna need to advertise. I'm gonna send out a few messages. I'm gonna talk to a few people. I saw a girl waiting in line for the bank yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, send me a text as soon as I'll bring friends." And there's nothing that's been an easier sell. Like if you're running for political office, people might question you. If you're running for comedy guy, everyone says, "Oh, I'll support you. I'll show up." That sounds great. You know, especially if they think you're kind of funny anyway. Like it's the easiest thing I could ever try to sell. And I'm pretty sure I can sell out 1, 2, 3, 4 shows before I ever have to advertise. And that's the goal. I'm gonna just hit the streets. I'm gonna hit my text. I'm gonna go to people's houses. I'm gonna fill that 60 seats like in 48 hours. And then I'm gonna buy the next night, and then a night the next weekend. And I'm just gonna keep buying nights. It's only $200 to buy a night, right? And so versus the $7 a seat at the Castle Theater, it's $200 for 60 seats, which is $3.33 a seat. I'm gonna charge $30 a ticket. I'm gonna make, if I don't buy any advertising, I'm gonna make $1,600 in 2 hours. Holy shit. And I'm gonna have so much fun doing it. Anyway, so, and I've already got the guy, I talked to him already, he's one of my classmates, this awesome kid. He's not a kid, he's an adult, but to me he is because he's in his 20s. He's like 23, he's an ex-Marine. Brisbane, Australia. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry if my one guy is gonna have to go offline. There will be people that see this later, so that's cool. And thanks for watching the Greater Bilby. Love you, man. Appreciate you. So yeah, I booked my first night, January 16th, at the Coffee Addict to 60 people. And I should make money my first, like 2 hours. I've never, if I could do 2 shows, if I could do the next night too, I can make $3 grand in 2 days. Not working. If you ever hear comedians say, it's hard, like I've heard these pussies, these Joe Rogan pussies, "Oh, it's so hard to come up with an hour of material." That's because you're not funny in the first place, bro. And my community's full of funny people. Right? I love telling this to people because everybody here agrees. Like Joe Coy is so funny in other places. Joe Coy in Maui is every other guy we know, right? There's so many funny people here. And they just need a forum. So I'm going to try to give people what's impossible. That's a stage to tell jokes on, latitude with the time, and a sympathetic audience, a real audience. When you go do open mic, there's 7, 9, 12 people in the audience. It's gonna be 60 people for this nice young man that I go to school with, who's also studying film, and he's gonna help me film it, which is cool. But then also, I'm just never gonna stop trying to find people who've never done comedy to be my openers, right? Their first time ever, they can open for me, right? And I'm gonna try to find people who are funny and give them encouragement and a stage, and my dream is to hopefully have a career of my own, but also to be able to say, hey, that other guy who's even better than me, I gave him his first stage. You know, I don't need money from him. I just want to be that coach who's coaching a winning team. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm so excited because I immediately, like the night after paying the $200 for the room, I just went, yeah, I got my set. I got like 60 jokes here. That's a good hour, right? And there could be some crowd work that spontaneously happens. It's gonna be a bunch of my friends. It's gonna be all my friends in the audience. So it's gonna be a raucous bunch of people, a bunch of heathens. No, a bunch of people with a good sense of humor who are, you know, sympathetic. And then my second group of 60 people is going to be people I know. And my third group of 60 people, there's all going to, I think the fifth show that's when I'm going to start advertising. But I think I can sell 240 tickets to people I know pretty quick and easy. And especially after the first one sells out, right? Like, yeah, it's all going to feed on itself. But each time I do this, I could make, if I don't put any money into advertising or promotion, I'll make $1,600 a show doing no work. This is never going to be work. These pussies that call comedy work are weak. They've never worked 40 hours a week for a decade or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? That's work. Anyway, so that is just the most exciting thing ever. And I think tomorrow they might go online. As soon as they go online, I'm gonna start selling that shit out. What's going on here? I'm getting yeah, so and goddamn, it's a reason to go on Facebook, which I just did, and put this out there. And Facebook is so unhealthy. Every time I go on Facebook, it's just not good for you, okay? It's not good for me. Yeah, I got all my childhood friends there, and other friends, and local friends, and 600 something, 700 friends on Facebook, but it's just a hellhole trap. As soon as I go on there, time gets wasted, and it puts all these weird thoughts in my head of whatever, and you know what I'm talking about, right? It's weird. It's either triggering or heartbreaking or whatever it is. It's Facebook, and I don't think it's good for humans. It's everyone comparing everybody to each other and themselves. Funny thing is how often people come to Maui, go home, and then that's their identity. They got all their pictures are from Maui. Their Facebook picture is a picture of them on the beach, here, showing their good life. And yeah, I just there's a big difference between YouTube and Facebook, that's for sure. In any case, I'm super excited. I have been struggling trying to find some place to do jokes. And so I'm going to film it. I'm going to go live stream on here, but I might create a subscriber only, or maybe I'll do one of those privates where you got to pay $1 or $2 or whatever to become a member so you can see this content. Because, finally I might have something that's valuable enough to do that with. I definitely need to figure out other forms of social media. I'm not on any other form of social media. So when YouTube just screws me and stops anyone from seeing anything on my channel, I'll have other outlets, right? Like I don't have now. So yeah. So yeah, I'm planning my classes for next semester. I'm taking, I'm going to retake, because my broken brain, I just couldn't keep up with Photoshop the first time. I'm going to try Photoshop again. I'm going to do a media analysis class with this cool guy who is a local film critic. His name's Barry Wurst, and he's part of the Maui News, but also he's out there on the net. If you want to see a cool film critic guy, his name's Barry Wurst. His writings are out there. He sees every movie and writes reviews on them. And he's my current instructor in my Watch a Movie class, which is a film critic class, critiquing class. But basically it's watch a movie class. You go to a class, you watch a movie, and then you write a page about it, and it's fun. And then I'm going to take this class, Script to Screen, which helps you, which is like, if I have a script already from my screenwriting class right now, we can put that into a movie, and then my instructor is in charge of the Wailuku Film Festival. So if I could come up with a screenplay, make a film out of it, and then submit it, if it was good enough, even if it's just good enough, being one of his students, it's cool. Maybe I'll get into a film festival. Probably won't follow through on this well enough, but it's a hypothetical possibility anyway, which is kind of exciting. And then Oh yeah, and then I'm taking a class on how to start a business. And if I start doing comedy shows, well, that's a business, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to. Do I get a, do I get an LLC? Do I, you know what I mean? All the different ways you can organize a business. I got to figure that out. Anyway, and then hopefully this will all lead to me someday having my own little place for comedy, a comedy club called Bradley's Going Bananas, possibly, where it will no alcohol, just shows, merchandise, and the smell of banana bread. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. So, but yeah, that's that. With those things. But also, I'm thinking. So, wouldn't it be cool to be able to sell art? Right? I mean, my God, I've never sold any art, but like that painting right there. I'm gonna take a pic. That's my genius, 200 whatever, 170 IQ. My grandmother, yeah, my mom's half sister, Dolores Frank. She painted that. It's her only abstract painting. She made like other stuff too, like landscapes and stuff. But that was her only abstract painting. I was able to get it. It's the one thing I got from her after she passed away. And I'm gonna photograph that and then make prints out of that. I wanna try to sell that on eBay. I need to get back on eBay where I had sold a few baseball cards before the fire, and then a lot of the stuff that is on sale, still somewhere on eBay, burned up in the fire. But nevertheless, I'm gonna test the waters and try to sell art, but also like photography. This is a night. This is cars driving by, and then me moving the camera around at night. When I was taking my photography class, this was part of an assignment I had to do. I went out there at 4 a.m. in the dark to do that, and so my interest in photography exists. And what if I could sell photography? That's cool because you don't actually have to make anything; you just have to capture it. And then there's my prints. Oh, I'm gonna get a print, show you. Like the first thing I carved a linoleum plate out of and made a print of was from my canoe club shirt, a petroglyph, a Hawaiian petroglyph, and this is that, you know, pretty cool, huh? And so, you know, maybe I'll try to sell my prints, and if you saw my little short, you've seen that before, but nevertheless, like. The thing about artists or comedians, the one thing that makes them artists and comedians is them just believing in themselves, right? The guy that I was at the Museum of Modern Art, I made a video of it live. It's a long 4-hour video, walking down to the gay pride celebrations in San Francisco, which was interesting. All those naked people walking around. Anyway, naked men. But on the way there, I went through the Museum of Modern Art, and one of the paintings was just the color maroon, right? Just one color. But that guy just believed in himself, right? That's all it takes to become an artist, truly. So that's, you know, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. In comedy, in art, maybe. Anyway, wouldn't that be cool? What if I could sell some art? I mean, I would feel like I was a little bit of a con man, but that's, you know, that's what all artists are. They're just people who believe in themselves. Anyone can do it. I didn't know it. I've never taken an art class. I never had artistic skill. I don't have artistic skill. But something like that thing I just showed you, all you got to do be good at is tracing something and then carving it out and then stamping it, right? That's printmaking. So that's exciting, interesting. You know, I got high hopes. I got, you know, I believe anything's possible if you just can, you know, if you can see it here, you can see it there, right? The law of attraction, and so on. Gee whiz, heck, son of a gun. Cheers to you. Love you guys. speaking of Australia, in some cases, like, because there's all these foreign filmmakers, right? There's that in the United States maybe we never really saw before, but now with Netflix and whatnot, we got all this film coming out of India, we got film coming out of Japan, we got film coming out of Australia, out of Norway, all this stuff. Some foreign countries' films and TV shows I have found to really enjoy, and one of them is Australian filmmakers. There's some cool shows, some cool movies. I don't care for stuff from India. Anything that's influenced by the Chinese government, I try to avoid. I am enjoying South Korea's movie industry. At first, I never did see Parasite, but I've been watching some of that stuff, and it's compelling. I love stuff from Norway. Don't particularly like stuff from Russia, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? Some countries I am warm to, and others are, but Australia, New Zealand. Of course, it helps when people speak English in foreign films. So, yeah. Oh, and hey, Greater Bilby, I got something for you if you're still watching. I'm pretty sure you're still watching. There's 2 people watching. There's this viral famous video, I'm sure you've seen it, of an Aussie bloke out there in the outback, right? And he's one of these guys that deals with kangaroos. And like he comes up on his dog who's being held in a headlock by a big old kangaroo. And he goes up, he squares up, and he freaking punches the kangaroo in the face. And the kangaroo bails. Like, this guy's tough. Toughest guy ever lived. Anyway, I waited on this nice couple from Australia that are good friends with that guy. And they tell me that he's not the kind of guy that wants anybody to know who he is. He's happy being anonymous, wishes no one knew who he was. And now everyone in the world knows who he is, because he's the guy that squared up and got a good connection, on a big old giant kangaroo, strong as hell. And kangaroo ran away because he was tough. Anyway, that was cool meeting those people. You never know who you're going to meet, when you're talking to strangers, and so on. So, that's interesting, a little bit. Foreign film. There's so much out there now on Netflix and all the different places you can see foreign films. Oh, here's something God, long hair is a pain in the ass, let me tell you. I recently learned how to make a ponytail. It's one of those things you've seen people do a million times, but you never had to do yourself. And then you're like, oh, I think I can do that. But yeah, this whole thing. All right, I'm making a ponytail. One of my big new discoveries. All right, and it sure gets all that hair out of your face. God, it sucks. Long hair sucks. When you're trying to eat, it gets in your mouth. It's terrible. When you're trying to sleep, it gets in your face and your mouth. It's terrible. You never know when to shampoo and condition. It's a different schedule because maybe you're not supposed to do it every day. I don't know. Anyway, I can't wait to cut all this hair off. But for now, I'm enjoying the vanity of having all this hair and being an old man. Not being gray and still having hair is kind of cool. It's my ego is a little attached to it. So what else? Oh, a couple videos ago, the one on the beach, I was like, what's that guy's name? This guy I've been watching that I kind of like on YouTube. Crazy thing is he's like younger than me, but he looks older than me. But his name's Tom Powell Jr. That's the guy. He's like Tizzy Knit. He calls people out for being schmucks. Anyway, that's just an aside. Yeah, and then there's all the bad news in politics. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. It's so terrible. The domestic terrorist Trump is calling everyone else a domestic terrorist. It's just crazy. Marjorie Trader Green, Marjorie, what was it? Anyway, she's terrible. She just quit, right? Yeah, and that's weird. She's weird. I didn't want to talk about that shit. Whew. All right. Oh, look at these. Look at these. This place, Claire's, and if you go to Old Town Sacramento, there's this very interesting store, Claire's, where I bought these. That's really close to the Railroad Museum in Sacramento. Recommend all of that. Good stuff. I talked to some nice ladies from Washington, D.C. today. And that was nice because we agreed on everything. And they were fun. They were like, I don't think people are used to seeing black people in first class. Right? They happen to be black. And they're my newest subscribers. And welcome to my channel. So, but yeah, cool ladies. I don't know why I brought that up, but I mean, it is what it is. Life is what it is. How long are we on into this? I can't even. My eyes. Oh, over 60 minutes. So I've done more than an hour. All right, that's cool. Look, my kitchen's clean. Oh, by the way, check it out. Let's see. That right there is my great-great-grandmother, Virginia Shearer Bradley. That's her son, Frederick Worthen Bradley, greatest mining engineer in history. Has a mountain named after him in Alaska, Mount Bradley. That's his son, Frederick Worthen Bradley II. And that's my dad, Frederick Worthen Bradley III, who was negatively affected by all the success and money that happened before him, making him a narcissist. Nevertheless, and that's the mansion in Pacific Heights that got torn down in the 60s. But if our family had kept it, oh God, I'd be living in a 36-room mansion, 3 stories with an elevator built in 1906, renting rooms out for $10,000 a month in Pacific Heights. Anyway, that property is now 9 city lots with 9 different houses on it. And then over here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 generations. And then there's me with my daughter. So that's 6 generations in my family, which is kind of cool. And then that's the newspaper article from the second time I rode a bicycle across the United States. And it's signed by a bunch of 49ers because I got into the 49er training camp. And they made me a VIP for the day. When you're riding your bicycle across the United States, people open up to you, and they do nice things for you. I was doing it for a good cause, but nevertheless, that's the day I became that's the Auburn News. That's Gold Country, really close to Nevada City, where her husband was the first surveyor of Nevada City, drew the first city map, published in 1869, and she ran for office and was elected in 1881 to the Board of Education. Maybe the first woman in America to run for office and be elected. And then she fought for women's right to vote, right? Was the president of the Women's Organization. Went to Chicago for the World's Fair, representing the Women's Organization, fighting for the women's right to vote. I think in like the 1890s. And that's her in 1933. She and her son died like in that same year. And then my granddad, he was interested in film and photography, and if you've seen the old films, those are all his. And of course, having the money that his dad had made it possible for him to have the best camera equipment you could get in the 30s and 40s. And he became president of the Bradley Mining Company in 1933 when my great-grandfather died. I never met any of them because my grandfather died in the 50s. My brother never even met him. Anyway, but an interesting family history of people doing interesting stuff, and yeah, so that's I arranged that behind me. It's no accident. And shoots, bada boots. Oh, I got I think I got the last couple. Oh, let me show you some of the cameras I'm just starting to figure out and learn and use. So, I think the best actual captions I found of underwater was when I used this GoPro. That's the one where you can really see the fish up close. I had it on my forehead, but I'm gonna go back out there with this in my hand because it really does a great job. So that's the GoPro. Then there's the 360 camera, which I'm just starting to figure out how to use and what it can do. And that's those fisheye views that do 360, well, 2 views, which I didn't know I was even filming like that, to tell you the truth. When I filmed that film, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know I was making 2 globes. But it also has this thing where it'll do 360 in one picture all at once. Haven't done any of that stuff, but it can do it. And so that's interesting. And it can go underwater. But so that's the 360 camera. I'm just starting to use that and figure that out. Now, the one where I went through the crowd at the Lahaina Craft Fair, showing all the tents and the people, that was done with this, which I now really like. It's the DJI with a gimbal, which really, and of course when I'm watching that, I just want you to know, like you, I'm saying to myself, slow down, don't move the camera around so fast, hone in on that a little longer. That seemed interesting. I just still am trying to learn that lesson. Over and over I'm learning that lesson. But nevertheless, I really like this camera. And it has, this is all one battery, and this is an additional battery, and it'll go for days, which is cool. Right? So that's that one. And then there's I've been shooting everything on cell phones. So, and I just lost, I have 3. The third one was a free offer. The second one is one I got in a package because I was getting phones for my kids. I pay for their 2 phones. And this one we're on right now, which has unlimited data. Just like the 4th phone they gave me for free, it has unlimited data. And then there's the first phone, which has limited data. In fact, I've used it all up. I can't even access the internet on this one. But that one is only $15 a month. So I found that plan during the pandemic, and I'm like, yeah, why not just keep it? Yeah, so there's that. So I've been filming, most of my filming like right now is just on a phone. But I got to get a new one. Oh, yeah, and then the bills. Man, I just paid last semester's tuition. Just paid my car insurance. Just paid for one car's registration. Got to pay for another. So bills are coming due, and got to say thanks. There's one person still funding my GoFundMe. Craig lost everything in the Maui fire, and she is like an angel on earth. I can't explain it, how someone could be so kind and generous for so long, consistently. And she just made another deposit to my account, or my GoFundMe, like yesterday. And I can't, there'll never be enough for me that I can do to thank her. But she took me up once before on coming out here and staying with me, because I have a 2-bedroom apartment on the ocean, FEMA housing, and which I may lose in February. But she's coming out in January, and if she wants to be on film, we'll do an interview. But she's going to be at my show, which is cool. And as soon as tickets go on sale, I'm calling her and saying, hey, buy a ticket. So that's cool. I know the first person that's going to buy a ticket is her. And last time she was here, I just cooked for her for like 6 days, which was cool. But this time I'm gonna get her out more. We're gonna go out and do stuff, and it's gonna be great. But it's the least I could do. Like, someone does a random act of kindness for you, you feel like you want to pay them back for life. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so, and she and I'm her loyal friend, and that will never change. She doesn't have to continue contributing to my GoFundMe to keep me as a friend, but she does it anyway. Man, I mean, it's a miracle, a miracle. She just helped me recently meet my goal of 25 grand on my GoFundMe, but she's like more than half of that 25 grand, one person. Meanwhile, no one else has done any of that stuff for like a year and a half, except for her, and it's through the roof. It's like $1,000 a month kind of thing almost, or somewhere around there, or sometimes whatever. It's just so much generosity that I couldn't see coming. The nature of people is so good. And that's when I rode a bicycle when I was younger, and that's what that's about. When I rode a bicycle across the United States 3 times, that's kind of the moral to the story, which is why I need to write a book about it, which is why I need to try to write a screenplay about it. Because, man, it would be so fun to see that book, to see that movie, which would just mainly highlight the good nature of good people who never make the news. The news is never going to be full of the good people that you meet when you travel. And so, yeah, there's that. And then there's this camera, which I had to get for my photography class, which is just a, Canon T7 that also shoots video, but the video quality isn't as good as these other things. But finally learning how a camera works in your mid-50s is too late. I recommend y'all figure that out sooner, because even with the all the new technology, cell phones being basically almost as good, or maybe pretty soon as good as a real camera, if you don't understand all the settings and the ways and what they do, and there's this triangle of ISO, which is light sensitivity that can be adjusted, shutter speed, which is, and aperture, right? The size of the lens, the amount of time you leave it open while you're capturing it, and then the light sensitivity that you impose into the image. That's the triangle of cameras. And I didn't know any of that shit until I took this photography class, and now I'm so glad I did. But I recommend it for everybody. It's that is the totality of my cameras. Now that I lost a camera, I'm thinking if I could figure out how to afford it, I need to maybe finally buy a decent one. Like this right here is the cheapest iPhone. It's a 300. It's the the cheapest one. And then this one was the cheapest camera I could get in the whole place. At T-Mobile, after battery stopped working on my old phone that was in the same plan. And it just sucks how they don't make it so you can replace batteries anymore. You got to buy a new phone. That's just nonsense. So then behind the scenes, I got at Costco there was a pretty good laptop on sale, like $400 off. That was only $600, and it's pretty cool. It's a gaming one. And so I got that. This is my little infrastructure for trying to figure out how to, do stuff. But I just got a 14 terabyte memory center, which will make it so I don't have to delete anything ever again. And then what's amazing is these tiny SSD cards. I just saw one at the store at Office Max yesterday. They make SSD cards, that are this big, that hold a whole terabyte, which just makes me sick when you buy a phone and it doesn't have just massive memory for cheap, because you can buy it and it takes up no space. Anyway, I have 2 half a terabyte, 500 gigabyte, little SSD cards, some 256s. So that's going to help me, absorb, make film and video and be able to put it there and not have to like get rid of it before I can make new, and then I can dump it into this 14 terabyte little tower over here and keep it all and not have to delete anything, which, if I want to make film or videos where I use editing, which I still don't know how to do, which is sad, but I'm hopefully going to change that. Yeah, so I think I'm, on a low level, because there's like a higher level of cameras out there. There's these like the Sony 5 or 6 or whatever that are like the standard that, like, I think Netflix has a standard. Anything in Netflix shows you has to be filmed on like at least one of those cameras or something. Anyway, and those cameras are more expensive, but pretty cool. And nevertheless, I've got a nice little array. I got two I can go underwater with that capture differently. I can also shoot on land with those two, the 360 and the GoPro, and then the one with the gimbal. I can't take that underwater. It might do okay in the rain, I'm not sure, but it's nice having a steady camera, right? When I film, often it's too shaky. Trust me, I criticize my own film. And outside right now, I am filming the ocean, which has been throttled, right? So I just went from I'm gonna get like 50 views on this, and a week ago I got 8,000 views on the thing. I'm gonna get 50 views on tonight. So like I had 80,000, I had 40,000 views in a week, and the next following week I'm gonna have like 200 because of the shenanigans at YouTube. I don't understand them, but that's okay. It's not up to me to understand that. It's just up to me to do what I love what I do, keep a good attitude, and that way it really doesn't matter, right? So I'm gonna do what I love what I do, and keep making content that I like, and that I hope you like, that informs you of something or shows you something beautiful or teaches us something or whatever, which is, in a way, although I'm not an artist, I see all my videos, the collage of them all, as a type of art in a way, and the totality of them as something that sort of represents, I guess, me, which is something an artist would say. Anyway, whew, I am getting hungry, and yeah, I've been cooking. Haven't been making cooking videos, but I should be, because if you think about it, if you cook your own meals, you cook 1,000 meals. If you do 3 a day, that's 1,000 meals a year that you cook, which is just pure gold for me. It's fun. Also, it's good to know what you're consuming. The only way to know what you're consuming is to cook it for yourself. When you go to restaurants, you don't know what you're eating. You don't know how much sugar or salt, or if it was thrown on the ground or whatever. Although I'm not saying you shouldn't trust, I'm just saying, cook for yourself, right? Because look, there's 3 things that are going to give you a happy life: sleeping well, eating healthy food, right? And some exercise. The hardest of them all, maybe. But I'm finally exercising, so I can talk about that. And I constantly try to eat healthy. And at some point along the way, I realized, one of my favorite hobbies is taking a nap, which is free. You wake up healthier. But yeah, sleeping. Good sleep, healthy sleep, as best you can get it. Right? And then, so, sleep, food, exercise. The Holy Trinity. Ooh, that doesn't look good. The Holy Trinity of good health, really, and a happy life. And then, of course, it's worth noting, a good attitude, right? If you can have a good attitude, eat right, get sleep, and exercise, you found the meaning of life like tenfold, right? The meaning of life is simple. If today's a good day to be alive, you found the meaning of life and you're living in it right now, okay? It ain't ever going to be more complicated than that. So, you know, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of life. It's so easy to find its meaning. Anyway, what else is going on? What else is going on? A lot of bad news. A lot of bad news that I've decided to not focus on anymore. I mean, I see it like you do. Oh, I love how Australia was smart enough. Brazil was smart enough to lock up the president that tried to overthrow the government. Australia, New Zealand were smart enough to take guns out of people's hands after they had mass shootings, right? Because guns don't make us safer. Oh, anyway, what else? And now I'm training for next canoe season, which is cool to have a purpose. I recommend you find a purpose with exercise somehow, you know, a goal. Set goals, you know, and work towards them. You know, why not? And in everything, in anything. And so it goes. Tragically, my beautiful daughter here won't talk to me. After seeing my stand-up comedy, which I filmed, that offended her. And talking to strangers too much made her think I am crazy. Literally, she thinks I'm crazy because on New Year's, or in New York City, on New Year's Eve, I was talking to strangers. I was making live content. It's still on YouTube, but that behavior of talking to strangers made her think, she decided I'm crazy, and she hasn't talked to me since. So that's a bummer, but I can't control it, and I'm not gonna have a shitty life because of shit I can't control, right? My son, I love him, but he doesn't draw on me and what I can offer him enough. Basically, their mother taught them to never listen to anything I say. So even if my advice is good, it doesn't matter. They have been taught from the time they were young to just tune it out and to consider it wrong on its face every time. And so that's frustrating. So I appreciate all you who will allow me to influence you to eat right, exercise, and sleep right, and have a good attitude, because I can't even influence my own kids to take that up. You know what I mean? It's crazy, because it is so simple. So simple. But yeah, I also need to apply for, now, if I can get this first job, which is, you know, hard off at 4 and no holidays and all that, there's all these casual jobs, and if you don't know about this, wherever you live, there are hotels probably. They got casual jobs where you give them whatever 2-3 days a week you're available. If they have work for you, they offer it to you. If you agree to work on that night, like say serving banquets, shit, you could make $50, $100 an hour with a side job, working when you want and when you're available. So I'm going to be applying for casual jobs too at these multiple big hotels here where there's just great work. Like if you're a banquet server, you're basically a busboy getting paid. Like at the Ritz, you're making freaking $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 an hour as a busboy serving a banquet, right? If there's a banquet and there's a corporation there and it's $100,000 for the banquet, they put 22% on that. That's a $22,000 tip that then gets distributed among the employees, which ends up being like $100 an hour. Anyway, so that's how that works. And that's another little goal. Oh, and I think I have worked through it. I gotta make posters, promotional posters. I could carve them out of a plate and leave like just one thing ambiguous, like the date, and then write that in maybe. And so that's something I might try to do. Anyway, all right. Oh, This lady, Virginia Shear Bradley, her husband, who wrote the first city map for Nevada City during the gold rush, that's this book about him and his voyage from Boston around Cape Horn up to San Francisco in the spring of 1850, showing up in the, or no, he left in the fall of 1849, showed up in the spring of 1850. Anyway, some historian who was a professor found 4 gentlemen's, they all wrote a diary. 4 guys on the ship wrote a diary. They were all friends. One of them was my great-great-grandfather, Henry Sewell Bradley. And this guy took those four guys' journal entries and wrote this book about it, which is cool. I think he only printed, I saw like 1,000 of these books have been printed. I had 2 of them that got burned up in the fire, so that's 2 less. And but I was able to find this online in the aftermath, and so that's kind of cool. How lucky am I to find a book that has my great-great-grandfather's journal entries from sailing around Cape Horn to go start his new life in the West, you know? Pretty cool. The Gold Rush Voyage on the Bark Orion. That's how I know the name of the ship. You know what I mean? So, pretty good stuff there. Right on, right on. Love you guys. Thanks for watching my channel. It is kind of an adventure. It's weird. It's not easy to get the gumption to make live broadcasts, right? Gotta have the energy. Gotta be direct. Gotta know what the hell you're gonna talk about, maybe. Oh, on that note, I keep finding cool people to watch. There's this guy, Hawks Podcast, and I know where he's from. He's from Marin County, where I'm from, and he's alluded to where that is, but I don't think he wanted people to know, so I'm not gonna tell you. But it's in a place where there was once a restaurant named Hula Hands, and Margaritaville, where I went to as a kid, and then also Margaritaville as a young adult when that was kind of a hot spot. But Hawks Podcast, this guy's, he's right on the money. Then there's this Granny News or whatever. I think she's Canadian, and she's adorable. And then there's this lady, what is her name? Sheila Lenore or something. A cute brunette who just pulls no punches and calls out these shitty politicians, these greedy people. By the way, what a waste of your life, man. If you got all the money in the world, like a lot of these people who are ruining the world, why don't you go live a happy life? Go to beautiful places and enjoy your time and your friends and your family, and use your money to do good in the world, which will make you so happy, instead of using your money and power and influence to hurt people, which is just stripping you of your soul. Like, all these horrible, 99% predominantly Republicans. God, I saw a guy I've known for 30 years today, and he's the only Republican, and I'm like, bro, how could you be? It was so disappointing. I'm like, at this point, after all the horrible shit they've done, you still, anyway, that was no fun to talk to this guy who's a good guy, and he's still a piece of shit Republican, and it's hard to fathom. Anyway, hard to fathom. Yeah. Shoots. Oh, and then movie reviews. Oh man, have I been seeing? There's this movie out there and it's funny because these movies that we're watching in my movie class, like one of them is from Oahu. It's called I Was a Simple Man, and like the New Yorker gave it great reviews. It's got all these great reviews, but it's a slow movie. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's from Oahu, but it's all about death and dying, and an old guy who, his wife died when his daughter was 9, and he just let his sister or his sister-in-law and her husband raise his kid. He didn't even try, and so now he's dying, and his daughter, who wasn't in his life, is there taking care of him, and her son, and And they're like, we don't even know who this guy is, and but it's so sad because it's the story of a old man dying alone with people that barely know how to care about him, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be my future too. Just like at Thanksgiving coming up, I'll probably be surrounded by nobody. Christmas, I will be alone. I'm used to it because of working in the service industry, but it's still a little bit sad. But this whole movie's about this guy, and it's foreshadowing. I was thinking maybe I need to go on Tinder, just so I don't die alone. I was thinking also it would be interesting to go on Tinder for 1 week, see what happens or whatever, for many reasons, but one of them would be for new content, new comedy content. I'm sure there'll be something funny to talk about. Oh, by the way, there's this advertisement right now. It's like an Amazon. It's an Amazon advertisement where there's a guy at the kids' table on Thanksgiving, and he shows the kids his phone, and they're all excited. But right before that, there's this one line of a guy at the table talking about a colonoscopy, and the one line that you can hear is, so in the middle of the colonoscopy, okay, so there's no such thing as the middle of a colonoscopy. Well, I just had one recently. When you go for a colonoscopy, first of all, you think it's going to be about the procedure. You quickly realize the procedure has nothing to do with the reality of the colonoscopy. The reality of a colonoscopy is they give you a 40-ounce jug of juice that gives you diarrhea. And you're like, what? I got to drink this whole thing? Oh my God, what a commitment. And I can't eat for 2 days? Oh my God. So that is the test. That is the whole experience. When you go in, they knock you out. And they tell you, they put a mask over me and they're like, that's just oxygen, but it's really knock you out gas. Or when they put in an IV, getting a colonoscopy involves one thing, waking up. That's it. You go and you wake up and you're like, you did it already? It's over? Oh my God, I had no idea. Anyway, of course, we're all supposed to do that in case you got, precancerous things. I had one polyp. It wasn't cancerous, thank God. But there was a guy in there at the age of 40 getting it done, like I should have done. And a guy at 50 doing it. And here I am in my mid to late 50s finally getting it done. So, yeah, just funny. Watch this Amazon ad. I'm sure it's all over the place. But the funniest thing is how and they make it a joke. Oh, if you don't want to hear about your uncle's intestinal stuff, whatever, but like his line is, so in the middle of my colonoscopy, and then they cut to another, person. But there's no such thing. So that's a little bit funny. If you watch it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's funny. Because there's no such thing as the middle of a colonoscopy. There's walking in the door, and then there's waking up. That's it. So, and if you haven't had one, go get one, because I don't want you to die of colon cancer, nor do I want to die of colon cancer. And the funny thing is, at my age, like, I don't know if I'm going to live 40 more years or 40 more minutes, right? I could have a heart attack at any moment, a stroke. Oh, God, help me if I have a stroke, because my brother's had a stroke, and he is affected heavily by it. It was in the middle of the night. He couldn't seek medical attention because he didn't know, and it just totally took its total toll on his body. But he's so lucky to have money in the bank and a wife that's taking care of him, right? I'll be like just alone and fucked up physically if that happens to me. So, I got to go to the gym. I got to work out. I got to keep a positive attitude. I got to make sure I do everything to clear out my arteries and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's that. Let's hope. Like it's so crazy. My grandma lived till she was 100. Her husband died at my age of a violent heart attack. So maybe I'm going to have a violent heart attack real soon. I don't know. Or maybe I'll live till I'm 100. And then on my mom's side, her mom died in her 50s from cancer. But her dad lived till he was like 80, and he smoked his whole life and drank. So, and he probably would have lived longer had he not done those things. So, again, to my point, I don't know if I'm gonna live another 4 minutes or 40 years, but I'm hoping for 40 years. Because, you know, I mean, who would, if you like to be alive, if you like life, it would only make sense that you would want to live a long life. Right? All these crazy people are like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to die of something anyway. Might as well enjoy my time smoking their cigarettes or getting drunk and destroying their liver. It's nuts. The truth is, you're going to want to not be in pain at every stage of your life. My grandmother, oh my God, she was totally independent until she was 99 and 11 months, right? And then she went in the hospital, and then she had a stroke, and she passed away peacefully. But she was never a burden to anyone her whole life. So we can only all hope for that. But man, it is humbling getting old, I tell you what. Gee whiz. All right, I think I've talked enough. I thank you guys for being here, for listening to me, for being interested in my channel, for watching all my crazy content. And yeah, I'm constantly thinking, oh, I need to make a video about that or this and that. And so, you know, you never know what you're going to see next on my channel. But generally, it might be something beautiful or something that is useful or that is a learning thing for both of us. Something I've learned or something I'm showing, you know, sometimes we learn things live or in the middle of a video. And yeah, life is good. Here comes my first comedy show. And the owner had, so, and the owner's like, this is a non-starter for a lot of people, but if you want to do comedy here, it's got to be without profanity, so no swear words, no problem. Because when we swear, when I swear, when you swear, it's a choice we make. We choose to swear. We don't have to. And then also no political jokes, which is fine, because politics suck. And not like, that's one criticism that is just easy to have. Saturday Night Live, that I love. Joshua Johnson, so many comedians. They think they got to do jokes about horrible shit, like our shit-ass politicians, Republicans predominantly. And like the worst joke about a fart is better than, like Bill Burr, his first joke was about Gaza and his, bad subject matter. Subject matter is a choice. So, but the one thing that's going to tie all these jokes together is they came after the fire, and they just sort of happened, because that's kind of how jokes work for me. They just happen, situational things. But after I get through doing 1 or 2 or 10 or 50 or 100 of these shows, finding my marbles, life after the fire, these jokes will get parsed out into hopefully close to 1 hour sets of jokes about travel or being a tourist and tourism, or about farts, or about, you know, something that ties them together, right? And so that's the plan moving forward. I have, you know, I'm an old dude, and I've been making up what I consider to be funny things to say, jokes, if you want to call them that, for my whole life. So I've had experiences in life, riding a bicycle across the United States 3 times, recently driving across the United States 6 times, paddling the Molokai Channel 5 times, whatever it is. Jokes come out of life, and most of my jokes have something to do with reality or something. But I have a lot of them, is my point, or a lot of stories, or, you know, volumes. I think I have 6 or 7 hours of material that I could parse out into 10 different shows. So the goal is blaze a trail forward, and then hopefully get the attention of Netflix or Hulu or anyone that'll pay me enough money to buy a house in Maui with cash. Because I got no credit, and I'm not sure if I can count on these 50-year loans and so on. Anyway, there is a $4 billion settlement that happened here in Maui, and pretty soon maybe. Apparently they're gonna. I'm on the low. On the ladder of how much you get, I'm on the low end, but I don't know how much that is, and maybe I'll start to get. They're gonna parse your payments out over 4 years, so that'll be interesting. I'll be revealing all that to you if and when it happens. I'm not expecting it. I'm not even hoping for it because I'm tired of being disappointed. But that's coming up, right? And then in a few years, if it's still there, I don't know. Social Security is going to kick in. If I can get this job and work it 10 years when I'm 67, I'll have a pension from being a pool lifeguard. So that's cool. These are all the things that are going to keep me fed and hopefully away from being homeless moving forward as I get older. Which, you know, as one person I once knew said, getting old ain't for sissies. You know, you got to be tough to endure all the pain, keep a good attitude, and so on. So far, I haven't had to get a new knee or hip, but I am starting to feel my left hip a little bit. I wonder how long I have. Hopefully, I can keep these hips without having to get a new one. But it's amazing how common it is now for someone to have their knees replaced or their hips replaced. Ooh. Anyway, shoots. Shoots, bada boots. And I think I mentioned this already. So this was a bit I did when I was in Chicago. On the mainland, this works as a joke, but just explaining to people how fun it is to talk here, right? You got guarans, which is an affirmation, like guaranteed. You got shoots, which is fun to say, probably number one still. You got the cherry, which is beautiful. And then now we got this new word that is in every other sentence in Hawaii, and that is like yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. But of course, they throw one more word on top of that, right, to make it even more fun to say, right? You got garans barbarians, brah, or shoots bada boots, brah, or cherry barbary, and now you got yesa, blessa, yesa, blessa. I love that, and it's so common now. It's the most popular word probably in Hawaii is yesa. Which is, you know, it's just a positive expression, fun to say. And it has one more word right after it, which is blessa. So that's cool and kind of funny and interesting and part of our local life here in Hawaii, where we are very culturally diverse and racially diverse and religiously diverse and linguistically diverse. And yeah, I'm all for diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially now that I'm old, right? I want to be equal with the younger people. I want to be hired for a job that they're hiring somebody younger than me for, which is equity, inclusion, and yeah, diversity is terrific. Imagine a world where there's only one kind of woman. In the United States of America, or there in Australia, you got white girls, you got brown girls, you got black girls, like you got Asian girls. It's all good, right? That's a positive. And of course, on the woman's side, same thing can be said for the men, right? So diversity is a strength, and but in many cases, in many ways, yes, on your Olympic team and mine or not, but also if you're just out there as a single person looking for love, right? It's all a positive. And I just am horrified by these asshole right-wing psychopaths that want to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion. It just makes no sense. Like every negative thing, which is everything conservatives do, which who are really perversives. There's nothing being conserved or preserved or protected by these people. Um, yeah, it's all positive. All the stuff that conservatives don't like is actually, well, they don't like it because it's good. Anyway, shoots. All right. Well, thank you for your time in this evening. I hope there's storms all over the place in Australia, which means there's probably some headed here. Aloha. Who's that? Oh, Lauren, love you, girl. Can't wait to see you in January. Yeah, I'm so excited. So excited. That's going to be cool. We're going to get out and do stuff. And I've got that one show, but I think I'm going to go back maybe tomorrow. As soon as I can, I'm going to sell this out. I'm going to call you first so you get the first ticket. There'll only be 60 available. But then I'm going to go back and book the next night if I can, the 17th. And then the next weekend. And so on. So, yeah, I might be asking you to buy a ticket for 2 nights. And it's like I'm not even gonna have to advertise to get those two nights. So because that's only 120 seats, and I know 2,000 people on the west side, and on other parts of the island too. And so anyway, oh yeah, thanks for being my one of 2 people watching, Lauren. YouTube has decided to put the squash on my channel. Right, I went from 8,000 views to 40 on my Love You Too on my live streams, and but I'm used to this, right? They've been doing that since the beginning. Every video gets stopped at some point, or just when the channel starts getting momentum, everything stops. And I don't know if it's a human being or if it's evil artificial intelligence. Who knows? But it's all a reminder that I should probably be on more places than YouTube. Diversity is good on social media too, and I just am not diversified. Anyway, all right. I think I talked plenty, probably too much, and oh my God, 112 minutes, almost 2 hours. Oh, anyway. Oh, Lauren, I've stopped consuming cannabis, which is a huge challenge because the jobs I want to get involve blood tests and piss tests. And so, so far I'm up for it. I'm almost a week in. That's why I'm drinking. It's the only thing allowed, and so on. And it's all good. It's all positive. Life is good. It's a good day to be alive. You know what I mean? And gee whiz heck, son of a gun. I love you guys and you. And shoots, you can do it. Oh, I love the encouragement. So yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait for you to be here, for you to be at my first show ever, and so on and so on. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. Love you guys. Yeah. Oh, it reminds me. I got to do an online inspection of this place. I got to go around and take pictures, and on a website. I have 3 inspections a month. One online, one from FEMA that comes into my place, and then one from a property manager that comes into my place. So, yeah, that'll be one of the things I don't miss if I become homeless in February, which won't be the end of the world. Especially if I can start finally doing shows and earning money doing shows, which will be a gosh darn miracle. But it seems like it's inevitable at this point, almost guaranteed. I just don't know how I'm gonna not sell 60 tickets is so few. And if I can sell 60 tickets at $30 a head, minus the $200 for the place, that's a $1,600 2 hours of not working, or 1 hour really. Anyway, so But what if I could charge more than that? What if I had more seats in the audience? I mean, this could be a way to make a living or add to the small amount of money I'll make if I can get this lifeguard job. And it'll be a whole new beginning. It's what I see as sort of a happy ending to my recovery from the fire and a happy beginning of something new that's going to grow and develop and so on. And it makes me wonder if I need to like start, get a business license, start places online where it's like a just comedy of mine on whatever social media entity and so on. Anyway, all right. I'm saying words that don't mean anything too much, like anyway. When I have this, one of my best friends, maybe my best friend, whenever I say anyways, he's like, that's not a word, it's anyway. And he's been telling me that for 30 years, and he said that to me like 3 days ago on the phone. So, and I wish he'd come out and visit. I'm like, bro, it's your last chance. Bring your kid, but he's busy. And so, more words that don't mean anything. Kind of like when people say, to be clear, or I feel like. How long have people been saying I feel like? I feel like if I go back 20, 30 years and I look at some footage of people talking, they didn't say that before because it's just so, like, suddenly everyone cares about what everyone feels like things are, not facts, just their feelings are the most important thing, which is kind of funny. Anyway, all right. Do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching. All good things in all good time. And, if you want to not have the odds stacked against you in life, don't snort anything, don't take pills, don't gamble, don't hang out with violent people, don't drive drunk. Maybe getting drunk is a bad idea too. Wear condoms. If you're depressed, don't have guns around you. Anyway, drive if there's 2 lanes and one of them is against oncoming drive in the right lane where you have a better chance of not dying from a head-on accident. You know what I mean? Just play the odds in your favor. There's no guarantees in life, but you can play the odds in your favor. So that's what I recommend. And avoid the wrong relationships. I know 2 people that have killed themselves because they were in the wrong relationship, and then they got heartbroken and got full of self-pity, and that's sad too. So, that's pretty much all my best advice. If I can influence you to do anything, take care of yourself. It's amazing, all the influencers in the world, why aren't they all just telling you to eat right, exercise, sleep right, avoid the troublesome things? Because that's the only thing I would want to influence people to do or to not do, right? The stuff that would make sense. Anyway, gee whiz heck, son of a gun. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful... Oh my God, there's 3 people watching. That's so many. There was 1, and then there was 2, and now there's 3. That's exciting. But the most important people are watching, people who have been paying attention and watch my channel and who are apparently up past their bedtime. Oh my God, there's 4 people watching now. That's amazing. Funny, when you go on vertically, you can doom scroll on your phone. If you don't, maybe you already know this, but that's why when I go vertically, often sometimes there's just a lot more viewers, and then you stumble upon the super weirdo racist people, and but I don't care. I don't care about selling out, just trying to do it, getting views for whatever reason. You can't care if you're doing this stuff because you might just get throttled by somebody who is some Republican at YouTube working for Google, right? Google is now, kissing the Republican traitors' asses, right? As they all sat behind Trump at his inauguration, the CEO of Google. So who knows what's going on behind the scenes with all this nonsense. But nevertheless, I enjoy this direct capacity to, and also I don't have enough memory in my phone to do it any other way, and I don't know how to edit. So going live is also just a lazy way to get this done. But I also like the truth and the raw nature of not editing and just being yourself and saying what you think and not thinking about it. You know what I mean? Because it's just, and then also it's just automatically uploaded, and that's that. So, all right, I'm gonna finally shut up now. Oh my God, 2 hours. Where does the time go? Life is short, and I should probably get on with it, and so should you. And love you, Lauren, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you. We're gonna get out and do some more fun stuff next time you're here, because we need to. And even though school starts on the 12th, 13th, and I requested that you try to come like before that, just because as it gets later in the month, I might be getting closer to homelessness, which will be a concern that I'll have to like start worrying about, thinking about maybe getting a storage unit. And school will start to get harder 2 weeks later. Like the first week, 2 weeks, it's not like school's going to be an issue, but it's just going to be something that's going to be distracting, and so that's why. I mean, you can stay as long as you want, and but that's why I say maybe start in the early part of January, just because you know, I'll be less distracted and so on. But whatever you want to do, all right. I'm just so happy to have you, and so thankful for your generosity and your kindness and your friendship. It's nothing I could have ever dreamt of or expected, nor do I ever moving forward. I never expect it. Every time it's this amazing gift and surprise, and I can only hope to be more like you in the future. Should I have the capacity, boy, would it be fun to be a giver, right? What's more fun than giving, you know? It's like the little things. I love opening the door for a stranger, letting someone go in front of me, right? Like on any level, there's nothing more fun than being nice, and more satisfying, you know? So anyway, I just want to be more like you someday, and I look forward to hanging out with you. And even if I'm not smoking, I got you covered. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I really look forward to introducing you to many of my friends, and so on. All right. Now I'm going to shut up. All right. Have a great day to be alive, everybody. Remember, today is a great day to be alive. Every day we're alive is a great day to be alive. All we can do is our best, you know, to have the best attitude we can. And I'm going to keep on working on that. I think it was pretty good to be super stoned for like 2 years. And it might be good for me to not be stoned, right? Like, maybe that was the right amount of time to spend just heavily medicated with good PTSD medication. And maybe it's good for me to have this challenge of not being super stoned every day. And if I want to, I can look forward to it. And for longevity purposes too, I want to live a long life, and you know, it'd be nice for me to cleanse and all that stuff. But this is not an easy thing for me. It's taking, you know, pretty good effort. So anyway, all right. God, I gotta shut up. Have a great night. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Aloha.